This course is going to be different, not like the usual Flutter course you have seen before. Most Flutter courses teach you how to build UI, some teach you how to connect a Firebase, but very few show you how to build something truly modern. Because today the world is changing and everything is moving towards AI. And as a developer, it's not enough to just build apps, we need to build smart apps. Hi, I am Shivam, and in this course, we are not just going to learn Flutter, but we are going to build an AI powered application from the scratch. An app where the user can enter ingredients and AI will generate complete recipe instantly. You will learn how to design a beautiful UI, work with Firebase, and most importantly, integrate AI into your apps. This course is designed in a way that even if you are beginner, you can follow along and step by step without feeling overwhelmed. And by the end of this course, you won't just have an app, you will have the confidence to build your own AI powered applications. Here you can see that this is how I've just created the UI for our object detector app by using an AI, right? So this is the home page that I've created, and I think so now you got to know like how to use a different widgets to create an awesome UI in Flutter, right? So I'm going to give you a quick recap of what I have done so that you can just get to know like how I can use this widgets, though you already have an idea, but I'm going to give you a quick recap, right? So you can simply get the image from the asset folder, the link I've simply provided you. Okay, now here first I need to just pass the background color to this image, and then I use a app bar. You can see that this is an app bar, and you can use an app bar inside a scaffold widget, right? So just write an app bar, and you need to pass a background color to the app bar as well, right? Now we need to pass some text to the app bar, so that's why I use a title, and in the text I've just passed like AI object detector, and we have just passed the styling and all the same thing that we have done before, right? Now we have just write a column widget over here, and then I need to display this image, the text that I have written, like a snap a photo to identify an object, take a photo of anything you want to identify, and our AI will provide you more information about it, right? So this is all that I've created, and I've simply created a custom button by using a container. I think so these are the simple things, right? Now I'm going to show you that how I'm going to use a chat GPT or open AI API to simply read the image and give me the detail about the image that I'm going to click. Right now what I need that when I click to this button, or once the user click to this button, I need to simply open my phone camera so that I can simply click the picture, and the picture will be uploaded to an open AI API, and then it can simply give me the details about that image, right? So this is the process that we are going to follow right now. Okay, so we need some pre-built code to just handle this execution. So you know that to get a pre-built code, we need to move to the pub dev, and we need to copy some important packages from there, and we need to paste that in our Flutter app, right? So here we lands to the pub dev website, and as I told you that we need the package which is like an image picker, so that we can pick the image. So we need an image picker package. So move to the installing, let's copy this package from here, and we need to just paste this in our perspec.ml file, okay, in our dependencies section, something like this. So this is the first one. Now as I've told you that we are going to use an API. Now API is usually starts from a HTTP link, so we need an HTTP package as well. Just to handle a HTTP link, we need a HTTP package, right? So we'll move to the installing, and let's copy this package from here, and let's paste this in our dependencies section. So once you simply paste this to package, now we are going to just write a function so that the user can simply click the image from their camera. So I move to the home page, and in the home page I'm going to just first write a file, and we are going to just write an image. Now the reason is very clear, so let's first call this, and we just need to pass null check. Now why I've just pass a file in the image. Now the reason is very clear, that once you simply click the image from your phone camera, that will be stored in the form of file. Okay, so we need to get that file, I mean the image file, and we need to store that in this image file that we have created. Right, now once we do this, now let's create a function so that we can allow the user to pick the image or to click the image. So I need to just write pick image, and then I need to just write an async, and then I need to write final picker is equals to image picker. Okay, something like this. Right, now once we do this, now here I need to write final, and we need to pass picked file is equals to await picker dot pick image. I need to pick the image. You can see that the picker has lot many things. Once you pass dot over here, you can just pick the image. You can pick a media, you can pick a multi image, you can pick a multimedia, pick a video as well. So there are lot many things you can use by using an image picker package. It doesn't mean that image picker will just help us to pick the image. It has a lot many things that you can simply pick from a phone gallery or directly from the camera. Right, so I need to just write pick image, and it's simply asking me the source, from which source you want to get that image. So I'm going to just write image source dot, and there are the two things. I need to pick the image from the camera or in gallery. I need to pick the image from camera, so I need to pass a camera. Right, now when it is picked, I need to store that in our image file. So I need to just write picked file should not be equals to null. It means that the image should be picked successfully, and when it has been picked, I just need to store that in our image file. We need to just pass picked file dot path. Okay, something like this. Now once we do this, now let's use a set state. I think so it's very clear that what we have done over here, and this is how we have just done this thing. Right, now once the image has been picked successfully, if you are thinking that we can just send this image directly to an OpenAI API and tell them to give the detail about that image, then you are totally wrong, because the picked image is totally now in the form of file. Now once you simply send any image in the form of file to any API, it's not going to simply read that, because we need to change that image into the form of text, and once we send that in the form of text, then only that API can read that image. I think so it's very clear. Like, you can't directly send the image in the form of file. You need to change or convert that in the form of text, so that the API can simply read that image. Now you will say that how I'm going to change that to a text, how the image can be changed to a text. So there is a basically a base 64 is a encode that simply help us to change the image to a specific text. Right, so the base 64 write a text in that way so that it can simply highlight that image. So that's a very unique thing. So what I need to do is that I need to change the image to a base 64, basically a text form that will be handled by a base 64. Right, so I need to first write a future, and in the future I need to just pass a string. Right, now I need to just write a function name like convert image to base 64. Right, something like this, and then I need to pass the file, because our image is in the form of file. So I need to just write like this. Okay, I need to write async, and we need to write a list. In the list I'm going to just pass integer, and we just need to write image bytes. Okay, image bytes, and we just need to write await image dot read as byte. Okay, so it's going to simply change that image to a text. So I'm going to just write return, and we just need to write base 64 encode image bytes. Okay, so you can see that this is a function that we have written just to change that image file to a byte, right, by using a base 64. Okay, now we are ready to send this image. So what I need to do over here, I need to just write a function name which is like an analyze image. Right, so this is the function where we are going to use an OpenAI API. Right, so what I need to do is that first I need to just write a future, and then I need to just write a string. Okay, now once we write a string, now let's write the function name is like an analyze image. Okay, I hope spelling is correct. Yeah, I just need to pass file, and then we just need to write image, and let's write async, and again I need to write string base 64 image. Okay, now let's call this function first so that we can get the image in the form of text first, so that we can successfully pass that. So let's pass this image. Okay, and once we do this, what I need to do is that I need to just write an API. Now what is an API? So let me give you an idea like what I need to do over here. So we need to pass some HTTP link. So API is something like, just think that if you want to call some person, you need a specific phone number to call that person, right? Now if you don't have a specific phone number of that person, you can't call that person, right? So now this is the thing that the API does over here. No, it doesn't call any person, it simply call a specific URL that we need to display in our app, right? Now here I need to call an AI. Now to call an AI, we need a specific API URL. Okay, so if you need to call any server, if you need to call any data from respective server, you need an specific URL which is called as an API. I think so it's much clear, right? Now here what I'm going to do is that here I'll just write final response, and in the response I'm going to just wait. So I'm going to just write await, and as I've told you that we need to use an HTTP link, so we need to use an HTTP package. So I need to write HTTP dot post. Okay, something like this. Now we just need to call our HTTP package something like this, and once we do this, now here I just need to use post method. So there are a lot many things that the API has, like post, get method. I'm going to explain all the things in the coming chapters, because I'm going to create an app by using an API as well, right? So now this is the thing. Now here what I need to do, let's first pass URI dot parse. So I'm going to just parse that HTTP link. So I'm going to just write URI dot parse, and we need to just write a respective HTTP link. So let's write HTTPS, and we need to call an open AI API. So I need to write API dot open AI dot com, right? Now we just need to write a version. So I'm going to just write v1, which is a version. Then I need to just pass a chat and a completion. Okay, so this is the respective URL link that I need to simply call a open AI API. I mean the chat GPT API, right? Now we need to pass some header. Like in the header, we need to pass a respective API key. Now API key is the unique key that have been given to the each user who are trying to just get the data from a server, right? So I just need to write a headers, and in the headers I'm going to just write authorization. So I'm going to just write an authorization, and in the authorization I need to first pass our API key. So I just need to write bearer, and then I need to just write API key. So I'm going to just write your API key. So I'm going to get this API key, so don't need to worry. And then I need to just write a content type. So these are all the headers that we need to pass, and then I need to write application slash JSON. So application slash JSON. Okay, so that's the thing. Now I just need to write a body, and in the body I'm going to write like JSON encode. Okay, so JSON encode. So if you're not getting about these things really well, because I'm not going to go too much deep right now on the API, so I'm going to teach you about API in our coming chapters. Okay, so don't need to worry that what I'm writing over here. Just think that how the API works, and once you get a knowledge, then we can get more deep on the API and other things that the API has, right? So I just need to pass this, and we just need to write JSON encode, and then we need to pass the model version that I want to use. So I just need to write GPT 4o. So there are a lot many versions that the ChatGPT has, right? GPT 4o mini, they have GPT 5 as well. So there are a lot many things. I'm going to use GPT 4o for now, and then I need to just pass a messages. Okay, now in the messages I just need to check that the role. So first I need to write a role, and in the role I'm going to write role as an user. So here I'm writing the role as an user, and then I need to just pass a content. So I need to write a content, and in the content I'm going to write like what type of content I need to show. So I need to show that content type, and in the type I just need the text. So I need to write a text, and then I need to just tell the ChatGPT API that tell me the object what it is, right? So what is going to happen over here, basically once we get that image, once the user try to click the image, and once we pass that image to the ChatGPT, they are going to change that image to the text as I've told you, and we are going to recognize that text. So I need to just tell that ChatGPT to recognize that text and explain me briefly. So I'm going to just write a text, and in the text I'm going to just ask the API like what is this object, explain briefly, explain briefly. Okay, sorry, yeah, so briefly. And once we do this, now here I need to also pass the image, because without passing the image nothing going to work. So let's pass the image. So again I need to write a type, and in the type I need to just write image URL. Okay, image URL, and we just need to write image. In image URL I need to just pass the image that we have. So here I need to just write URL, and let's write the data, then the image, and it is in the form of JPEG. So let's write JPEG, and then it is in the base 64. So I need to write base 64 comma, and let's get that image. So I need to just write base 64 image. I think so it's very clear, right? Now I need to just tell that ChatGPT, if they are, for example I click an picture of an book, right? Now it trying to give me the knowledge about that, what all things that the book has, right? Now there will be a chance that their ChatGPT will going to provide me lot many details about that book. So I don't want that too much detail about that book. Maybe I need some things in 200 words. So what I need to do is that I'm going to just tell the ChatGPT API that I need a max token of, or max words of just 200. So I'll just pass this. Okay, so this will just give me the brief of that respective product or an object in just a 200 words, right? Now once we do this, now here I need to just pass the content. So for that, so if response dot status code is equals to 200, okay, then we need to just write like final data is equals to JSON decode, and we just need to decode the response dot body. Okay, and we need to decode that, and we need to return, and in the return I need to just pass a data. In the data I'm going to write like choices. So I need to write choices, something like this. So let's write choices. Then I need to get that data. So let's write 0, which is an index. I need to get the message that we get from an API and a content as well. So I need to write content, something like this. Okay, so this is the thing. And if we are facing some error, then we just need to pass like it is that if we get a response from the ChatGPT successful, so we are going to check that the successful, basically it's like we need to check that if the response that we get is in the form of 200 code, which is that we are getting all the things successfully, then we are going to match that 200 is equals to 200. So don't think that why I've just passed a 200 over here. Now 200 just mean that the success. So it's going to just indicate the success, right? Now 200 is a success, 400 is a bad request, 401 is unauthorized or a wrong API key, and 500 is a server error. So this is how usually we get a response from a server in the status code, so that we can know that what it really means in the code. So this is something that you need to understand, right? Now once we do this, now in the else case I need to check that what error I'm getting. So in the else case I need to just print, and in the print I'm going to just write response dot body, okay, something like this, and then I need to return, and we just need to pass like there is an error in analyzing the image. Okay, so we'll write analyzing image, something like this. Okay, so this is what that we can pass. So this is how we have just wrote a complete analyze image function, where we have just used a open AI API, right? Now here I need to write the another function which will simply call this analyze image function. So here I'm going to just write void, and we need to process the image. So I need to just write process the image, and let's write first async. And if the image, like if the image we are getting is not null, like it has been successfully been picked, then I need to just return. Now here I need to just write if image is equals to null. It means that the image that we have tried to pick or tried to click from the camera and we didn't get any image, I'm going to just return, and we'll just tell that there is not any image that has been selected. Now for example, if the image has been selected, we are going to get a result. So I'm going to just write result. So for the result I'm going to first create a string. Okay, so let's write a string, and we just need to write result because we need to get a result in the form of text. So I need to just write result. So I need to write result, and we need to write result is equals to, and here I'm going to just write analyzing, just we can show this analyzing dot dot dot, okay, something like this, and we'll just use a set state once the we analyze this, right? And we just need to write string response is equals to await analyze image, and we just need to write an image, okay, something like this. So in the result we are going to just pass this like it's analyzing, and once we get that we are going to store that. So I'm going to just write result is equals to response. I think so it's very easy to understand, and we'll just use a set state, right? So this is what that we have done in our void process image. Okay, now once we do this, now let's do one thing. Now we just need to wrap up our button container with a gesture detector, because we need to pass some execution. So let's write on tab, and we just need to pass a function which will help us to pick the image from our phone camera. So I need to just write a pick image function, something like this. I think so it's clear, right? Now once I click to this, now phone camera will simply get open, and we just need to click the image, and we need to analyze that image, right? Now it's not going to work on the emulator, because in the emulator you can't use a camera, you already know that. So you need to run this app on a real device. So you can just connect your Android device, or if you have an iOS device, then you just need to run that by connecting your iPhone, and you can just run that through the Xcode as well in your real and iPhone device if you have. So let me connect my Android device, and I'm going to show you that how first the camera is working, right? Basically I need to show one dialog box as well. So for example, if I click to this, and once I pick the image, I need to show the dialog box just to indicate that this image has been selected, and the user can simply click to a start analyzing button and can analyze the image. Like the AI will going to analyze the image, right? Now if they don't want that image, like it hasn't been clicked successfully, or it doesn't look good with an image that the user have clicked, they can just cancel that as well. Okay, so I'm going to create a dialog box. So I'm going to just write void. I have already show you that how you can create a dialog box, so I'm not going to explain about each thing in the dialog box. So I'm going to just write build context, and we just need to write a context, something like this, and we just need to write file, and we need to write an image. Okay, so we are going to get the image first. So let's write image, and then we need to just write show dialog, and then I need to write builder, which will like in context, and inside the context I need to just write return dialog. Okay, then I need to just write a shape which will be like a rounded rectangular border, and border radius will be simply like border radius dot circular. We just need to pass up to 20. Okay, something like this. I've already shown you that how to create a dialog box, so you already have an idea like how to create all the things or add all the things in the dialog box. I'm going to just write padding, and then I need to write edge insert dot all, and we just need to write, we need up to 6. Okay, now here I need to just write a child inside a padding, and then I need to first write a column children, then I need to pass a text. In the text I'm going to just write like this, is like image has been selected, so I need to write image selected. Okay, then I need to pass a styling, an widget class. Cut कर देना भाई. We'll just need to write text style color. We'll just need to keep colors dot black. Though black is also a default color, so if you don't pass the color, then it's also going to work. So let's write font family. In the font family, I'm going to just write Poppins. So let's copy this. Let's directly paste this over here, and let's pass the font size 20.0. Okay, I think so it's clear. Now once we do this, once the image has been selected, then like once we show the text image selected, then I need to use a size box. Height, let's use 15 directly, and then I need to just write or show the image. So let's write image.file, and let's use the image, and let's keep the height up to 200, and we'll just use width double dot infinity. Okay, so it's going to just use a complete width, and then we need to use a fit box fit dot cover. You can use media query as well, it's nothing new. You just need to pass, you can also pass media query as well, it's up to your choice, and we just need to write box fit dot cover. Okay, I think so that's clear. Now once we do this, I can just use the size box, and we can just pass the height up to 20, something like this. Now we need to wrap the image file with a clip react widget. As I've told you that when you want to pass the border radius to the image, use a clip react widget. So I need to write border radius dot circular, and we are going to just pass up to 50. I think so it's clear, right? Now we just need to show the elevated button, so I'm going to just write elevated button. In the onPress method, I'm going to just write navigator dot pop context, so that we can simply pop this page like navigator dot pop context, and then we need to just write process image, which is our function. Right now in the elevated button, we need to just pass first styling. I'm going to just write style. In the style, I'm going to first write elevated button dot style from, and then I need to write background color, which will be like background color, which will like colors dot blue, something like this. Then I need to pass a minimum size, so let's write minimum size of that button will be like size double dot infinity, and let's pass the height that I need, which will be like up to 50, and let's pass the shape as well. So let's write the shape, and I needed that in a rounded rectangular, so let's write border radius dot circular, which will like up to 12. I think so it's much clear, right? Now we have just passed on press. Now we just need to pass the text, and in the text I need to just write start analyzing. Okay, analyzing. Yeah, let's pass the styling, text style. Color, let's use colors dot white. Font family, let's use Poppins, and the font size, let's use 20.0. I think so it's clear, right? I think so 20 is too much. Let's use 16. and then I can do one thing. Let's use the size box height 10.0. Okay, now let's use the text button. Now in the text button I'm going to pass on press. You can use a text widget as well, and you can use a gesture detector. Okay, let's write a text and we can use a cancel, so that the user can simply cancel that image that they don't need. And let's use a text style, font family, and we can directly use pop-ins. Okay, I think so it's clear. And in the on press method I'm going to just write navigator dot pop context, so that we can simply pop out from the dialog box. I think so this is a easy thing that I've told you. And let's show me you the dialog box first. I think so dialog box will not be appear over here because we won't get any image. So let's do one thing. Let's simply call a pick image function, and in the pick image function I have just used image source dot gallery. Now if you want to just run this app on the emulator, you don't want to run on the real device, you can use image source dot gallery as well, just to pick the image from the gallery and allow the API or the AI to just read that image. So I'm going to do the same process. Now if you want to click from the camera, you can use image source dot camera. If you want to pick from the gallery, you can write image source dot gallery. It's up to your choice, right? Now we click to this take a photo button and let's see. So I'm going to click to this and it simply open my phone gallery. Now I'm going to just read this football image. So I'm going to click to this and the image has been simply been picked from our phone gallery. Okay, now I'm going to just show you that show image dialog, and let's write show image dialog, and this is the image. Okay, now I'm going to just click to this and this is what that you can see, like the image that has been picked you can see over here. Now you have seen that if you don't pass main axis size dot min in the column widget, it's going to use a complete height of the screen. Okay, now it won't. You can see that it simply shows the image over here, image selected. Now if you want to pass some spacing and all, you can do that, like 10.0 a spacing from the top. And if you want to just you want to use fill, you can use fill as well. Okay, like fill will work something like this. It's going to just squeeze the image and going to fit that image according to the height and the width that we have passed. And if you don't want to just make this, you can use contain. Contain is a better thing, like it's going to fit the image accordingly you have, right? So I'm going to use contain just to display the image. So I'm going to write image dot selected, and this is the button start analyzing and a cancel button. For example, if I click to this cancel button, this dialog box will be simply disappear from here. Okay, now if I click to the start analyzing button, it's going to analyze the image. Okay, so what I need to do is that once we simply pick the image, so let's write pick image, and I need to show the dialog box. So for the dialog box I'm going to move over here and we just need to write show dialog box, not show about dialog, show. Okay, what was the function name? Show image dialog, show image dialog, and let's pass the image something like this. Okay, so now I'm going to simply work. Okay, so this is what that we have done, that I just need to add an API key just to start this API call. Right now, one more thing I have to tell you, that to get an API key you can just move to an open AI website, and once you move to an open AI website, from there you can just log in and can get an API key, and you can simply use the API key over here. Right, it is very easy to get an API key from there. And make sure that once you are getting the API key, you just need to add some billing account. You don't need to pay anything over there, you just need to add a card, because ChatGPT is free but an API is not free. Okay, so you need to simply connect your card with a ChatGPT or an open AI platform, and once you connect a card, then you can just test the app. It's not going to cost you very high, so don't need to worry. It's going to cost you less than $1, so don't need to worry about that, right? So that's a proper testing that you need to do. Like without a testing, how you can just add an API to this app, right? Now what I need to do is that I need to add an API key. So for that I move to the leaf folder and we are going to just write service page dot. Okay, now here I'm going to paste the API key rather than pasting that over here. So I need to write string, and I'll just write API and we write key and simply paste your API key over here. And once you paste that API key, then you can directly use this over here. Okay, you can use a dollar sign and you can write an API key, something like this. So it's going to simply recognize the API that you are going to simply save over here. Okay, so this is how you can just pass an API key, and let's see what result we get once we pass that, right? So here I'm going to create a new file. So for example, once I simply click to the take a photo button and we start analyzing the image, and once the image has been analyzed successfully, we need to navigate the user to the next page where they can just see the image that they have clicked, and on the bottom they can see the description of that image that has been given by an API, right? So I need to create a page for that. So I need to first write a file name. It's like object detector dot. Okay, so this is just a file name. I'm going to just import the package by using material dot, and let's pass a stateful widget or a page name which will be like an object detector. Okay, something like this. Now here I need to just write a scaffold, and let's pass the background color and the same color that we have just passed in our home page. So let's copy this and let's paste this something over here, and here I need back to move over here, and let's copy this app bar. So let's copy this app bar from here and we need to just paste this over here. Okay, so we are going to first display the image at the top that the user have clicked, and on the bottom they can see the description about that image, and then one more button at the bottom which will just tell that to retake a photo, right? So what I need to do is that first I need to get the image that the user have clicked. So for that I need to get that from our last page. Okay, so you know that in our home page, once we click to take a photo button, it simply opens a phone gallery. We are going to select the image, and the image that we are selected will be simply displayed over here, right? Now what I need that once I click to this start analyzing button, the AI will simply process the image, and once the image has been processed successfully, we need to show the result in this app, right? Now what I need to do is that we need to navigate to the second page which is like an object detector, right? So once we navigate to an second page which is like an object detector, then we need to first display the image at the top. So I need to get the image from our home page to an object detector page. So once we need to transfer the image from one page to the another page, here I'm going to use a command which will be like an file, and in the file, because as you know that our image that has been stored now is in the form of file, so I'm going to write file, I'm going to get an image, then we are going to write object detector. So once we navigate to a second page is like an object detector, we need to simply pass our image file. If you don't pass there, we can't navigate to that page, right? So it's very necessary that we need this image. So I'm going to pass this dot image. So let's first call a file. Okay, and this is what that we need to do. Now here you can see that we just need to pass a required function that I need the image to be shown in this page. Without this I can't navigate to this page. So that's how we can just transfer the image from one page to the second page. I hope it's very clear, right? Now once we do this, now here I need to get the detail about that image as well. So I'm going to just write detail, and I'm going to just write this dot detail, not in the file, I'm going to just write in the string. So I'm going to write string. Okay, let's pass semicolon and this. Okay, and we'll write this dot detail, and let's pass a required function. Okay, so once we get an image, the detail about that image, we need to just display this in, we just need to display on this page. Okay, so for that I need to first write a body, and inside the body I need to first write a column widget. Okay, and let's write children image dot file, because our image is in the form of file, so I need to use this. Now what I need to do is that I need to read the image that we have got from the another page. Now you can't directly write a image over here just to read the image, it's not going to work. So I need to read the widget first. So I'm going to write widget, and inside the widget, which is like our object detector widget, we need to read our image file. So first I need to pass the widget where our image file is, and then I need to write dot, and it's going to show me all the files or all the strings that the object detector has, right? So I need to read the image file, so I'm going to just write like this. I think so it's very easy, right? Now I need to write a text widget. In the text widget I need to pass like widget dot detail. It's clear. Let's pass style, and let's use a text style. Colors dot black, and we can just pass font family, which will be like a Poppins. And then I need to pass, I think so it's Poppins, right? Yeah, it's Poppins. And okay, so let's pass the font size, which will be like up to 20.0. okay, something like this. I think so it's very easy for you to understand, right? So now we'll move back to the home page, and we are going to navigate to the second page once we have a data. So I'm going to just write navigator. I'm writing navigation function over here because once we get a result successfully, I'm going to navigate the user to that page. So I'm going to write navigator dot push. You can use a push replacement as well, so I'm going to use push right now. So we'll write push, and then I need to write a context. We need to pass a material page root, and let's write context, and then I need to write at which page I need to navigate. So I need to navigate to an object detector page, something like this. Okay, so this is the thing, and it simply asks me that if you want to move to an object detector page, give me two things, and once you give me these two things, we can just move to that page. Okay, so we need to pass an image. So our image has been stored in the image file, so I'm going to pass like null check first because it's totally done, and then I need to pass the result, that is our detail about that image, and we need to pass in the detail section. Okay, so once we pass these two things, now we can just directly navigate to that page. Okay, so let me test this and let's see how it works, right? So I'm going to simply hot restart the app. Now we click to the take photo, and we are going to select the image from our gallery. Now we click to the start analyzing button, and let's see. Okay, now press to this. We'll just wait for a few seconds, and we just successfully navigate to this page. Now we need to change the color and all. Okay, so don't need to worry about that, and we are going to just change the color to white, and this is what that you can see. Now here you can see the description about that image that has been given by an API, which is like, this is a soccer ball, commonly known as a football in the most countries outside the United States. It is a spherical object used in the sport of a soccer. So you can see that it simply give you the complete detail about that image that you have passed to the AI. So you can see that how brilliantly our AI is working, and it's going to simply read the image that we are going to pass, and we can successfully get the detail about that image. I think so it's clear, right? Now we need to simply fix some of the things over here. I'm going to manage the height and width of this image. So let's first pass the height up to 300. We'll just pass the width 300, and we are going to use a fit box fit dot cover. We can use cover, I think so, not contain. So let's write cover. Okay, right? So this is what that you can see. I'm going to just also provide the border radius so that it will look good. So let's write border radius dot circular, and we can just pass up to 20. Okay, so this is the image that you can see. Now let's pass some spacing. So let's write the size box height 20.0. Okay, now this is the thing. I'm going to lower down the text size maybe up to 18, and then I need to pass the padding and all. So let's wrap up this with a padding widget, and we'll write dot only. From the left side I'm going to just write 20.0, and from the right side let's pass 20.0. So here you can see that this is how we can just display the detail about that image. Okay, so now I'm going to create one button as well. So let's, why to write the thing again and again? So let's do one thing. Let's copy this design that we have created for this image, for this button, and then I'm going to handle this, right? Not over here. Okay, over here. So let's copy this gesture detector, and let's paste this over here. Okay, retake a photo, and we are going to just pop out from this page. So let's write navigator dot pop context. Okay, yeah, so this is what that you can see. I will just pass a spacer over here. Okay, and let's pass the spacing from bottom as well, so that the button won't stick to the bottom of the screen, something like this. Okay, so this is the button that you can see. We are going to click to this and we'll move back to this page. Okay, from where the user can take a photo again, right? So this is how our AI is working, and now I'm going to test this by some more images from our phone gallery. Okay, so let's click to this take a photo again, and let's use this image. Okay, so this is the image. Now we'll click to this start analyzing. Okay, so here you can see that it simply give me the detail about this image. This image shows a peak squee waterfall with a cascading water creating mist as it falls over a cliff into a body of water below. So you can see that it's the AI give me the detail about that image that we have passed over here. So this is the thing. Now let's do one thing. Let's know about this flower. Let's see if AI give me the detail about this flower as well. Okay, so this is an image of a field of a brightly colored flower, primarily in the shades of pink, purple, and yellow. The flowers are likely the species of ice plant, known for their vibrant colors and succulent leaves. So you can see that all the things are working brilliantly, and the AI can just read the image that we are going to pass, and it's going to give me the detail about that image very successfully, right? So this is how I've taught you how you can just add a complete AI to your app.